Everyone. I apologize that I'm a little late to the party on this discussion board. I had a little bit of a misunderstanding and followed other directions. Long story short, I apologize for joining this discussion post late. So, as I think I've mentioned in several of my other discussion posts, I am excited about classes like this because I get to see perspectives of people who have been in careers and jobs and industries that have been able to practice the programs and the concepts and the ideas that we learn in these classes and discuss how they were able to implement and to work that into their careers. I have not been able to necessarily apply those concepts or the theories that I've learned into a career. I have jumped straight from school, my high school career, to my undergrad, to my graduate. So I haven't had quite the opportunity to be in any form of career role. I've had a few internships that have allowed me to play an effort in a few evaluation and research programs. However, I haven't had as much experience as y'all. So it's really exciting for me to see your guys' viewpoints, your perspectives, and to talk about the things that you have done and being able to connect it to what we're learning in class. So the first question that was posed to us for this discussion post to describe the key differences between evaluation and research, I decided to make one of these nifty little diagrams because I think while evaluation and research are very similar, they're both methods of systematic inquiries. They both serve a different purpose. However, I'm going to argue that they're both trying to improve something. It's a little bit of a stretch to say that, and I know that some articles we've read have argued against that, but stick with me here. So, research is generalizable, knowledgeable information. It's more long-term, while evaluation is immediately useful and put towards a specific thing, whether that's a program or a policy. It's more short-term. I would argue that they're both trying to improve something because, as I said, research is more long-term. It is still trying to make that impact. It's still trying to make change. It's trying to give a different perspective towards something because of the research or the experiment that was created. Evaluation just happens to be much quicker. It is looking at a program, black and white, seeing what works, what doesn't, and changing it immediately. In the Matheson article on the difference between evaluation and research, I loved this highlighted portion. It really gave me a really good idea between black and white. This is what this is, and this is what this is. So going through it, evaluation particularizes, and research generalizes. Evaluation is looking at those specifics in a program, what works, what doesn't, while research is kind of looking at an overview, choosing a theory, looking at how that theory works in a certain topic, and generalizing what that means. While evaluation is designed to improve something, research is designed more to prove something. As I said, I have a little bit of an argument there, but these people are much more educated than I am. Evaluation provides the basis for decision making, while research provides the basis for drawing conclusions. Evaluation is more so what, how well does this work, what is the value, the merit in this program, and research is more so what, how does this work, and what is this about. The second prompt that was given to us in this discussion post was to think about our own experiences in our career. And as I said, I unfortunately have not been able to be in a career that has allowed me to do so. As I said, I've been in a few internships that have allowed me to participate in efforts like that. I interned for the National Corn Growers, and they constantly were having evaluations on programs. They were looking at farmer practices. They were looking at agricultural policy and trying to make an impact, judging on what those programs were doing, stuff that they were hosting, things like that. So I've seen it. I haven't been able to partake in much of it. However, in the classes that I've taken, I've been able to practice a little bit. So my first semester at Ohio State, I took a program planning for adult. I think I'm saying it might be wrong, but it was program planning for adult programs. So we were told we had to choose a program, design it ourselves, come up with why it was needed, what you were going to do, how the program was going to work, and then at the end of the class, we also had to determine an evaluation for that program. I chose to create a program that was specifically for 4-H parents. I think that parents play a huge role in children's leadership tactics, their skills. So I wanted to create a program for 4-H parents in a community, and encouraging them to volunteer more, encouraging them to have those discussions with their children, encouraging them to go to all of the events, go to most of the events, and just be a very good role model for their children in that way. And I thought that through that program, children would see their parents playing leadership roles, participating, and they in turn would want to replicate that effort. So then my evaluation was a summative evaluation. I wanted to have a survey. I wanted to ask children if they are in a leadership role in their 4-H in their school, if they saw a change in their parents, if their parents talked to them about something, and to then talk to the parents about their motivations for participating in the program, why they have their child in 4-H, things like that. And in my second semester at Ohio State, so last semester, I was in an evaluation and accountability class where we looked at a program and evaluated it basically. So I chose to look at the Nebraska Agriculture in the Classroom program. For those of you who are not aware, National Agriculture in the Classroom provides resources and funds to various states across the country. Nebraska is one of them. Ohio is one of them. There's Kansas, several others. I chose to look at Nebraska because I am from there. I volunteered for the program. I participated in the program. So I just was more drawn to using this program as an example. So I looked at the program, specifically one that Agriculture in the Classroom has is called Ag Pen Pal, where a farmer or rancher in the state is paired up with a classroom, specifically in an urban area in Nebraska, to communicate with them at least 3 times a year. So that can be through a letter, that can be through a recorded audio, that could be from a recorded video or a live stream. So I wanted to look at whether that program was achieving the goal of educating students on agriculture, if students were taking more of an interest in what agriculture was, if they knew much about it, if they thought they were learning, if they understood the career a little bit more and the industry and learned what opportunities that they might have in agriculture. So that was more of a summative evaluation as well. I wanted to interview farmers and ranchers, talk to them about what their motivations were for being in the program, what they saw the program doing for themselves as well as the students, the interactions that they were having with students, and to also interview students and teachers that were participating in the program to see students particularly what they learned, what they knew more after the program, and teachers what they saw, if they saw a change in their students' knowledge of agriculture, of science, things like that. So the third prompt that we were given for the discussion post, was to look at the question that Dr. Seelberg posed. If you didn't get the outcomes you wanted, why was that? And does that mean something bad? So I believe that you should start by knowing outcomes. I think that it's pretty much that's how researchers and evaluators work. They are looking at a program because they have a certain ideal of what this program will do. Why else would someone design and implement a program unless they had an idea for what this program was going to do, what purpose it was going to serve, and the research, what purpose that was going to serve. They wouldn't look at it unless it was important to them, to a topic, to a content area. So I think that it is important to know outcomes, hypothesize. However, I don't think it's catastrophic if your outcomes don't turn out the way you wanted. By interpreting findings and bringing your stakeholders together, as Dr. Seelberg mentioned, you can have various perspectives to looking at that data that was gathered. You have a backstory to then interpret what you find. I think it's more valuable almost to have these ideals on outcomes, have an objective set, and if those objectives and outcomes are different from what you determined, you can go have great discussions with stakeholders to think about why this happened, what's working, what's not, why did what we think not happen. So I guess I'm kind of torn between that. I think outcomes are important to predict, but I don't think it's absolutely terrible if it doesn't work. Obviously, there's a lot of effort, both financially, time, stress in creating evaluations and going designing evaluations and participating in them, but in the long term, it's supposed to just serve a purpose and you're determining value. So I think whether you get outcomes you expected or not, you are seeing what the value of a program or policy or concept is. I just found this on Google and thought it was kind of cute, especially since it went with the prompt that we were discussing. So at the beginning of every evaluation, I know our project works, and another person saying, no, you don't. Evaluation and research, just to summarize, very different. And there are different ways to incorporate it, and I think it's great that I have been able to learn from all of you, your careers and jobs, that you have been able to apply all of this knowledge to. And I believe that evaluation outcomes, whether they are what you expected or not, are always going to be valuable toward the end goal.